Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we're going to be watching a video conversation between Joe Rogan and Bret Weinstein, and they'll be talking about the farmer strikes. And there's a few interesting things going on in the world. The World Economic Forum want total control over the planet's resources. It wants you to own nothing and be happy. And one way to squeeze the masses is by controlling the production of food. Okay. And the farmers, you know, produce food for its country's citizens. The food is then bought up by multinational corporations to make into consumable goods, edible goods. Um, and these farmers, they're already getting squeezed by these multinationals, and now through government legislation, they're getting further and further squeezed. And this is because the elites want control over your food. They want control over production of food. And why do they want to do that? Because they want total control over its citizens. Okay. AI is coming. AI is here. AI is about to displace at least 80% of the global jobs in the world. Um, driverless cars, um, driverless cars are also going to be here. So if you work drive an Uber, if you do food delivery, that's going to be redundant. Amazon's going to deliver its packages via drones. Um, AI can do spreadsheets quicker than you. It can do data analysis quicker than you. It can do video editing quicker than you. That slowly and slowly, all jobs are going to be phased out, and then you'll be very reliant on the government. And if the government control food, if government, if the governments control food, then they can bargain with you to swap food for your resources, okay? And the resources it wants is your land and your properties. And once it has that, then it's got total control over the global population. You won't be able to reproduce. You'll be, digital currencies are going to track everything you spend your money on. If the government's not happy with you, it will not allow you to spend money. And slowly, your freedoms will be eradicated. You'll be literally plugged into the matrix. The metaverse is here. Mark Zuckerberg's going to plug you into the metaverse, whether you like it or not. And then everyone around you is going to be plugged in as well. So it's not like you can live off the grid, because humans need social interactions. And slowly, I say slowly, I would imagine this will all take place within 5 to 10 years from now. In the next 5 years, you're going to see a rapid change, and then the next 5 years after that, it'll just be literally inevitable. There's a small opportunity that you have right now where you can do something about this. There's not going to be any uprising. No one gives a fuck about this. But if you do see what's happening in the world, if you think like this is pretty awful, what can I do about it? The last thing that's left for you to do is to become famous. And the reason I say that is you build fame because all the money goes to famous people, influential people. And once you have money, you can then join the elites and save your loved ones, make sure that your generation, your offspring makes it to the next phase of evolution. And because you're a good person, once you get to that elite, once you get into those elite circles, I'd imagine you could have a massive influence on the direction of where the world goes. Okay. That is my plan. I'm going straight to the top. I'm going to save humanity. I want you to fight alongside me. I want you to build a kingdom because only kings at the end of the day can go into battle. I want you to build your kingdom alongside my kingdom, and then together we'll dethrone these evil charlatans who are running the world right now, making up policy that we have no say over. Do you get what I mean? And one of the ways that they're doing is through these farmers, squeezing these farmers. And let's see what Bret Weinstein has to say.
Have you seen what happened in Europe with the farmers?
I've been watching that, yes.
Yeah, it seems like they, at least temporarily, have won.
They have won, but...
Let's explain what we're talking about.
All right. Well, maybe you should explain what you've seen. I've watched massive protests of farmers who are...
And so obviously some new legislation came in to squeeze these farmers. And this has happened before anyway. There's farmers' protests all over Europe. I especially saw it in Germany, in France, and the Netherlands, I believe, possibly Denmark. And then also there's farmers' protests in India, where, again, the farmers own private land and the government doesn't like it. It wants total control. And it does it by squeezing the profit margins of these farmers so they can't survive. And then the only solution is to sell the land to the government, because as long as citizens have private property, they have some sort of power and control, because they are the ones who are growing the crops, and they have to sell the crops to the government. The government doesn't like that it has to go to the farmers and buy it. It rather own the production. And when Joe says they've won, right, but it is just temporarily, right, because the government keeps just prodding you, right, we're going to do this, and then see how much they can get away with. You saw it in 2020, during the house arrests, the global house arrests that everybody was under. The government was just testing us. How compliant are its citizens, right? Like, how far can we push them? Can we lock them down for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 4 months? Well, what about social isolation? What about 2 meters apart? And it's weird how all these governments around the world rolled out the same sort of plan very quickly. It's like they were already controlled behind them, that there's some sort of secret organization, cough, cough, WEF, World Economic Forum. And, they are the ones in the background pulling the strings, and they keep prodding us. They want to see how we would react, how much they can get away with. And then once there is an uprising, they quickly squash it. Oh, okay. We concede for now. But they know that they can only do this, so the farmers can only carry this momentum on for so long. At some stage, they will just roll over. So slowly and slowly, within the next 5 to 10 years, you will definitely see more and more farmland being bought up by governments. Bill Gates bought a bunch of farmland, during 2020, during the COVID lockdowns. China's buying farmland in America for strategic purposes, because China also knows that, if we go into this country and control its food supply, it can have a detrimental effect on its nation's citizens.
Are increasingly angry and organized about regulations that make farming increasingly difficult, unproductive, and unprofitable.
If I was a conspiratorially minded person, what I would say is what they're trying to do is take over these farms. And the best way to do that is to enact legislation and rules that limit their profitable. Well, first of all, farms are always very difficult to run. They're very difficult to maintain profitability. They struggle. And it's a terrible shame that the people that provide us the thing that we need to survive, ultimately food, that we've done something to these people to make it more difficult for them to do it while it's already insanely difficult. It requires incredible hours.
So as Joe is explaining there, it is a difficult job. It's very difficult for these farmers to make a living. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of intensive labor. And the fact that, these are the people that we rely on for food, and the fact that they're getting squeezed more and more by by the people in charge who really don't give two shits about you. You know, the world that they created is modern day slavery. You know, and the only way that's left to escape it is by becoming famous. And the way I advocate for it is by becoming a subject matter expert. In essence, you find something that you're passionate about, something that you could work at 24/7 without, you know, getting tired. That's something that would be very exciting for you to work on. Study the subject deeply, work at it hard, track your progress on your journey. Every day, make a 5-10 minute video on your update. This is what I learned. Build momentum on it. Your channel will grow. You'll be becoming more charismatic on camera. You will learn how to present it, how to keep your viewers engaged, and after about 6 months, you'll feel very proud of yourself of what you have achieved. And then once you've built a certain level of confidence and self-esteem within yourself, it will then propel you to the next level where you start monetizing, making money off it. You know, within a year, you could be making 100K, you know, 10 grand a month, 100K in a year. And then after that, you know, you're slowly, you're just increasing your following, you're increasing the amount of money you make. You will very quickly realize that you are becoming an influential person. And the more you're learning, you know, you end up being the subject matter expert in your field. And by being the subject matter expert in your field, you are recognized as an authority. You will build some sort of notoriety and fame behind it. You know, once you're famous, and then it's just then about carrying on and start building your kingdom, building your followers, reaching the top. And once you're at the top, you're seen by other people who are famous, other influential people, as someone who has authority. Other kings such as myself will recognize you and your hard work. And then if we both get in on the ground up on both our journeys, you know, once we get to the top, who are we going to be friends with is the people who had your back right in the beginning. So it will be me and you, and I'm looking for 100 people to do this with. It will be 100 of us who would have built kingdoms, who would have reached the top, who will be the future leaders in the world. You know, that the leaders that we've got, you can't rely on them. You know, can you honestly say that the people in charge of the Democrats, the Republicans in America, in the UK, the Labour Party or Conservatives, or whatever politician you have in the world, do you trust them? They all seem to be part of this wacky organization called the World Economic Forum, who are taxing farmers, the people that we rely on for food. All you gotta do is just go on their website and see what they have planned. It sounds like a conspiracy, but you know, when the conspiracy becomes reality, then what? You know, it you know, the end is here, guys. Right? If you think, oh, this sounds too crazy, turn this video off. Right? Go away. We don't want you around here. All right. But there are a few people in the world who understand what I'm trying to say, and if you're also on the same page as me, if you believe in a similar sort of things that I'm talking about, if you are looking to someone who wants to survive the next phase of evolution, if you are someone who wants to build a kingdom, recognizes that you are a king, want to do something about this, the next phase that is coming, then I suggest you go to royalinstinct.com and alongside me start building your kingdom, and we can work together to figure out how you're going to do that. But let's return to Joe.
Incredibly difficult, highly stressful. There's so many moving pieces just to provide food for all these people. And they started enacting legislation to limit the amount of fertilizer they're allowed to use, to limit the amount of animals they have. I know in Ireland, they proposed something where they want to kill a certain amount of the cows.
So just think of that the government comes in and then tells the farmers, oh, you can only have a certain amount of animals. What do you think is going to happen to to food prices, to meat prices, right? Well, there's less meat going around now. Now food is going to go up. And the next thing that the World Economic Forum is planning for is, instead of farming, livestock such as beef, lamb or pork, pigs, it wants to farm insects and get farm insects and turn that into protein, right? Look, if you want to eat fucking crickets, if you want to eat insects, go for it. But why is the government so adamant on forcing this shit down our throats? It just doesn't make sense. If it was really that great, um, the free market will sort itself out. But it seems like they have an agenda to do it, and they don't want to eradicate it totally. They just want to drive the price up because the people at the top are rich. They have a lot of money, and they'll be able to afford it. It's the same thing with climate change. They say, oh, we want to cut down on emissions. Each nation needs to cut down on emissions. Well, it's the nation's citizens who end up footing the bill for it. The people at the top, they're still flying in their private jets around the world. It doesn't impact them one single bit, right? Because they have the funds to absorb the monetary shock. But the people at the bottom, no one gives a fuck about them. They're the ones who pay the price. This is all a long-term strategic plan that has been put in place to squeeze the population, and it ends in basically enslavement, where you won't realize, you'll be so numbed and you'll be so weakened that you don't even realize it is enslavement. And if you are someone who wants to save themselves, if you think that this is fucked, that I want to, that this, I can't go out like this, I need to do something about it, right? You need to make a lot of money, and the best way to make money is by becoming famous. And the best way that I think to become famous is by being a subject matter expert. Okay, you have like literally a 2-year period where you can still quickly get in on this, right? Because AI is here. It's going to make content 10 times better in 2 years' time than any human can. Okay, but if you now manage to build a audience, a following, you'll be safe in the future. You have literally like a moat around you of people that support you and listen to you and want you to be their leader. And then it's your responsibility to take these people who hang their hopes up on you, to take them to a safer tomorrow, a better tomorrow, where at least they'll be safe. They'll be in a community of people where people are like-minded, they're honest, they're reliable, and it won't just be you doing this. I'm looking for to cultivate 100 of these leaders, right? Each leading a group of people to the top, to build a kingdom, to safeguard these people, so your loved ones, so your family, so your future children can at least have some semblance of normality, and away from these crazy decision makers who want you to starve, in essence, who force feed you to eat bugs. Okay. Again, you have a short amount of time to do this. If you are someone who wants to fight alongside me, go to royalinstinct.com.
Because they're saying that the cows produce methane. It's fucking insane. It's not scientific. It's not something voted on. It's not something agreed upon by scientists, biologists, certainly not debated when you're talking about regenerative.
And just on science and scientists, you can't even trust the science anymore. Like we live in a disinformation age, right? We're coming out the information age, and AI is going to control the narrative by, for example, it can start posting a video that some sort of nuclear bomb went off, right? It will post a video saying, "Oh, don't leave your house because the air is toxic now." Are you going to risk it to see if it's real or not? You'll listen to the news saying like, "Oh, yeah, some nuclear bomb went off," right? And they could really go around spraying chemtrails, spraying anything into the environment. The government's got the means to do this, but you can't take this at face value anymore, right? Like AI is going to be so sophisticated. People's brains are melting in front of you, right? Like attention spans are going down. they'll literally whatever social media tells them to do, they'll just do it. They'll bend back over backwards and be like, okay, like, you know, I won't go outside. And slowly and slowly, your rights are going to be taken away. I mean, just look at the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, right? Like he was very, very interested in meeting scientists, in getting in on them. And the whole Jeffrey Epstein saga was really just a blackmail operation, because it will, you know, he will befriend you, he will take you onto his island, he will, you know, get you drunk, he will drug you possibly, because, you know, once you're on the island, he's the one serving the food. He can serve whatever drug he can drug you, you know, put anything into your drink, into your food, get you drunk, and then put you into compromising positions. Take pictures of you with, you know, the children, um, you know, take video you doing all sorts of depraved acts, and you you know you have been, you know, and then once he films you and takes pictures of you doing this shit, you know, now he's got something over your head. Now he can blackmail you, right? Because they'll be like, look, if you don't do what as I say, I will leak this information, and then you will be hated. You'll be put in behind bars. You are literally a criminal. And a lot of people, I believe, have folded. A lot of the elites. You know, the fact that this story happened in the world, and it wasn't, you know, it got covered somewhat, but there wasn't a national outcry for it. There was a billionaire pedophile, right, operating a human trafficking ring, okay, and in essence got away with it because he was put behind bars before he got to before he set, you know, before he went on trial. He mysteriously died, and we are led to believe, you know, who knows, he might still be alive. We don't know, because we only have secondhand information, right? You know, they put the body bag out. No one verified the body. Like people can be bought very easily. Oh, okay, listen, look, we're gonna pretend he's dead. You're gonna have to wheel him out the building. Here's so much money that you will never have to work a day in your life again, and in in exchange, you know, keep your mouth shut. And then what happens is that they normally end up killing that person anyway, right? Um, it's crazy. It's crazy that these things go on in the world. You know, there are science has been bought, the leaders have been bought. We are literally about to be plugged into the matrix. We are about to be plugged into the metaverse. And if you want to save yourself, the only thing that's left is for you to become as rich as quickly as possible. And it's not going to be by doing any copywriting or doing any crypto trade. It's going to be literally, you're going to have to build fame, because you can't rely on money by itself. You also need the support of people. You need people backing you and believing in your cause. You need to be the leader that the world needs. And you, by becoming a subject matter expert, by showing your passion, your intelligence, your charisma, and building a following, even if you don't have all those things right now, if you're building towards it and track your progress, people will see that you are building towards something, that you're building yourself up to be the chosen one, right? Because no one else is fucking doing it, right? Like I'm someone who looked around. I was like where are the leaders? Okay, like who is on the same page as me? Who's gonna, right? Like I saw all this shit coming, and I was like, right, who's gonna step up and like what should we do? And then, you know, there's a bunch of charlatans online who promise you all sorts of shit, and then they're like, you know, like for this amount of money, like, and then do this step, and then do this the next step, but don't like. I was like, right, like, is this it? You know, and then I thought, like, if no one else is going to do it, I'm going to have to do it. And the strategy I'm thinking of is like you really can't just do it all by yourself, right? As great as I am, you know, as amazing as I am, as intelligent as I am, I do need other people to help me. And I thought, how do I find these people? And I thought, let me broadcast my message like a bat call online. Let me find the people who believe, who think the same way as I do. I'm looking for 100 people who are the same as me, who believe in the same thing as me, and want to change the world. I don't give a fuck if you're black, if you're white, if you're Chinese, if you're whatever you are, purple, blue. As long as you've got a good heart, if you've got good intentions, if you are someone who wants to put their balls on the line, go for it, fight this world, fight the evil in the world, and together we'll save humanity, right? There's no leaders left in the world, right? You're gonna have to become the leader. I took a personality test. I think it's called 16 personalities online. If you type that into Google, and it's a free test you can do, and the results were that I'm an ENTJ, and what that means is that I am the commander personality type, which makes sense. There's been many instances in my life where I have been a team leader. If I have been a group leader, I've been the leader in my friendship group. I've also at university I was a leader of the captain of the dance team. It's just kind of within me just to organize people, manage dynamics, and which is why I thought if I get 100 people like me, and then if I bring them together, we can then together build kingdoms. Each of us will be a king, build kingdoms, and then together take on this evil world that we live in, because it's truly fucked what's coming. And if you understand what I'm trying to say, you know how bad it's going to be, and therefore it's down to you. If you understand what's happening, it's down to you to do something about it.
Farming practices, like people that have provided significant options for farming the way, like whatever the issues that they have, where they can actually sequester carbon in the soil and make these farms carbon neutral. It's been demonstrated. It's not theory. It's been done in America. Polyphase farms, white oaks pastures are two great examples of that, but there's many regenerative farms. It can be done. And for whatever reason, they have decided to enact these harsh limitations on these farmers' abilities to provide food for people. Cynically, when I look at something like that, I'm like, I think what they would do is do that, cripple the farmer's ability to make money. The farms go under, they take over, they control the food supply.
And that's in essence what's going on. Joe hit the nail on the head there. They are crippling the farmers and they want to take over. BlackRock is buying up properties all around the world. Governments are buying all sorts of land. They want you out. They don't want you to own anything, and they'll make you happy, right? Whether you like it or not, by force feeding you some sort of medication that will numb you, that will drown you of any sort of semblance, any sort of feeling. The situation is dire. We are at the end game, and if you can't see what's about to come next, right? If you're just worried about your favorite football team, your favorite basketball team, if you think, oh, I'm gonna watch my Netflix, I'm just gonna enjoy my Dominoes, right? Like, the world's about to burn, the show's about to start, and the next phase in the story of the human civilization will be only a few people surviving, only the elite surviving. You owe it to your ancestors to join the elites, because that's the only thing. There's not going to be any uprising. Like there's not going to be any that this mechanism of control is too strong. The only thing that is left is rise to the top, become one of the elites, and buy your freedom, become famous enough where you're protected, and protect those people who are who are in your kingdom, who trust you, who are able to support you alongside you. And once we reach the top, if there's enough of us, if there's 100 of us, what I'm looking for, and we have enough support, we'll be able to become the new policymakers. And it's a long-term plan. I don't care how old you are. You know, you could be in your 60s, you can be in your 50s, you can be in your 70s, you could be a teenager, you could be a 15-year-old kid, a 14-year-old kid watching this, being like, yeah, fuck it, like no one else is going to do it. I'm going to step up, and we're going to need all sorts of people, but 100 of us, right? We might expand. I might take on 1,000, but right now, let's look for the first 100. If you are someone who believes that the next phase is going to be fucked for humanity, and you know no one's going to come and sort it out, whatever skills you have, wherever you are in life, if you're willing to to do something about it, to become the leader that the world needs. If you think, you know, oh, nothing ever great's happened in my life, this is the moment where you decide that I'm going to do something, or I'm going to accept the fact that I'm just a piece of shit, that I'm just a loser who's just going to accept fate. Whatever happens in life, I'm just going to accept it. And if that's you, look, it is a hard decision to make, right? I understand, right? Go on and live your life. Go and watch your Netflix. Go do whatever. Me and 100 people I'm looking for will continue to battle. Will continue to fight. Even for you, even for the person who thinks that this is crazy, that I don't give a shit about it. We're doing this for you, in essence. But if you are an action taker, if you are one of the future leaders, then go to rawinstinct.com. And that is it for today. Again, you know, it has to be you, because nobody else is going to step up to do anything.